Well, listen, congratulations on the movie. First thing, I've got a bit of a bone to pick with a couple of things. First of all, I will never be eating chicken yakitori or ice cream again.
These actors won't either, I don't think.
That's right. Me and you
They
both.
didn't swallow anything.
Hey, watch it.
And then second of all, and I imagine a lot of people have asked you this, was this really based on a true story, or is that all a sinister ploy? Because I was about an hour on the train looking for stuff on Google and I couldn't find anything.
Oh, I wish you would have found it. No, that was a really silly joke. I think we had finished the first draft of the film. We're, I don't know, a little slap happy late at night, and I was sending it off to Joe and our producer Zach, and I was like, let me do a little something dumb and stupid at the end of the film just to surprise them. And I guess it just stuck.
Then I saw it, and the first reaction was, "We have to keep this. This is my new favorite part of the entire story."
Yeah, especially the kind of you see the photograph of who the actors were actually playing. No, they worked perfectly. Yeah, it foxed me anyway. I was
Sterling have seen this.
What's that?
I've not seen it.
John and Sterling have seen this element of the film, but
you guys are in for a surprise. Come tonight.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I think most of the people that leave South by Southwest on the bus or whatever will all be on the telephone searching for unsolved crimes. So listen, fantastic story. I loved the kind of the feeling, the grainy, gritty feeling of the 80s. I imagine that kind of decision was because you set the film in the 80s. You decided to kind of give it a really 80s movie feel.
Yeah, we definitely wanted it to be authentic. We love Technicolor. We love film grain. We had some authentic feeling sets, so just wanted to embrace the aesthetic. Kyle did a really amazing job leading out on the cinematography on the film to give it that look.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, you had about 500 hats on this film. No, I mean, you edited it as well, and it's perfect, man. How did you manage to do everything at the same time?
This one, I mean, obviously, we had so many great people to work with, but I think we tried to kind of keep things simple. Like camera-wise, we didn't do anything too complicated. If we had one lens, we used 95% of the film. Very little or mostly practical lighting. Really, just we're wanting to capture that the authentic world, 80s world that at least Joe and I kind of remember from our Midwestern days.
But no, that man, it really worked in your favor. It felt like I was like 13 again watching Street Trash or something. It was just brilliant. Yeah, worked really well.
Cool.
Well, what about for the actors? Using those kind of guerrilla rudimentary filming techniques, was that something that you'd kind of forgotten about or never even worked like that before?
Josh, you go first. Josh, I'm still calling you by your character name.
Oh, what did you call me, Josh?
I call you Josh.
I think, anytime, this is kind of a two-part answer. Anytime I'm working with Kyle and Joe, I know we're going to be down to like brass tacks. We're going to be, it's going to be guerrilla. It's going to be sort of no frills in the best sense of that term. It's like it's about the work, and it's about trying to get the best stuff on the screen. And for me in the business, and I'm a big proponent of that philosophy myself, but in the business, you can't afford to get too highfalutin in your taste and aesthetics. You got to take the work, when you can get it, if it's work you want to do, whether it's a 40-foot long studio trailer, or whether it's changing in your car or something like that. You just take the work and you go with it.
Sure.
Hey, and for me, yeah, I love the guerrilla aspect. Coming from the streets myself as a performance artist, I just love the raw kind of just throw yourself into it and trust that your higher power, Kyle and Joe, are looking out for you. And it was an incredible experience, just being very present and like Sterling said, letting go of any outside wants, like, you know, like having a trailer or whatever like that. It just, I don't know, it just felt like a real, we're making something happen on a shoestring budget here, and we're turning, you know, gold out of, you know, straw. Okay, I'm just rambling here, but yeah, it was a great experience. I loved it.
We did provide them with a juvenile hall jail cell as a holding area a
Yeah.
few times. I
Yeah.
thought those were actually kind of luxury accommodations.
Yeah, with the bucket and everything, yeah.
Oh, yeah, wash bowl, you know.
And with real live juveniles to take care of us.
Yeah, true.
No.
True.
But listen, I mean, you use kind of very 80s kind of guerrilla techniques, like I said, but at the same time, it works also really well because you kind of use the best way to describe it is kind of like the Pulp Fiction storytelling, in that there's kind of little hints there, and you had to kind of really structure everything perfectly so that it all worked really well. Not only so that it works well, but it also made me want to go back and revisit it to see little things that I'd missed. I mean, for example, I did spot John, and I spotted you in the first bit because I knew I was going to be interviewing you. So it was like, he's over there. But if it hadn't been for that, I wouldn't have spotted you, I don't think. So it's kind of, it works really much in your, very much in your favor. Kind of like these little Easter eggs there that you're going to see later on, which works really, really well. I enjoyed that a lot.
I'm so glad you noticed that. It was one thing we were hoping to do, since we kind of see Josh and Trent's story from two different points of view, and I guess Jasper's in that mix too. So we knew we kind of filmed a lot of those scenes twice, but wanted to make sure we included, you know, the actors, even if they are in the background, and all these actors, but specifically in this case, John did such a good job. You know, just acting out the scene in the background. And anyway, I'm glad you noticed that, because
you know, it makes me want to watch it again. Definitely, I can't wait to see it again to kind of spot things that I'm sure I've missed. Definitely, yeah. So next question then is for Sterling. Was it easy stepping into the shoes of the most talented synthesizer engineer Trent had ever met?
You know, I don't know if it was easy is the word for it. I think the word is more really really fruitful, I guess, or engaging. I mean, I was very curious about what Josh knows. I guess that's the best way to put it. I wanted to know what Josh knew, because that's fascinating to me. So it was really more of an opportunity to kind of engage and learn more about that world.
I mean, did you have a background in music yourself previously to this?
Well, yeah, I guess I could say I dabbled, right? So everything from a high school sort of garage funk band to, you know, I play a little bit of jazz. I used to every now and then hit with this group called Black Note, it's here in LA. And I wasn't a former member, but used to play with them. Then I had my own little trio called MK, so, you know, jazz. So yeah, I'm a jazz musician, but really now more of a dabbler, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. And then talking about music and tone, John, the tone for your character must have been really complicated. You must have had quite a lot of conversation with the directors about exactly the kind of tone that you wanted this character to be, because this kind of character either comes off perfectly well or completely the opposite. There's a lot of kind of these dodgy characters that are just over the top or not enough, and I think you just find the perfect fine line. You're very kind of, I don't know what the best way to describe it is, but there's not a lot to you, but at the same time, it's just the way they look, and these kind of, you're very kind of speak very not too often, and it's really creepy.
Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
It's a compliment, eh? Yeah.
Oh, geez. Well, you know, I'm so thankful. We had one rehearsal over at Kyle's place before we filmed it, and oh man, I was off. I just had all these preconceived notions and highfalutin notions what this guy was doing. It was way too complex. And Kyle, God bless him, you know, said, okay, let's start over here. And so that was really helpful to simplify, and to personalize it as much as I could to make it as believable, not only for the camera, but for myself as an actor. Oh, geez. And working with Sterling, I think you're only as good as the people you work with. And I'll tell you, he just helped me find who I was too, just the way we reacted to one another. And
this guy, that's very generous.
Well, hey, but it's
that's
true.
very generous.
It's true.
John, and likewise, just so you know, for the record, likewise, it was really fantastic to work with John, because from the word he was in it, he was engaging, and part of it is we come from a common background, we come from a theater background,
right? And
so when it's time to get in and grind on the work, that's kind of what we do. And we're both sort of, coming out of the, we're a little insecure about was it any good? Let's get it again. Was it any good?
Right.
So yeah, it was a joy.
One thing I loved working with you, Sterling, was that you ask questions. I tend to just, let's just do it, just shoot it, But I think asking questions like, where are we, especially with a limited shooting schedule that we had, it's good to have clarity, and bring in how is this puzzle piece fitting into the bigger picture, and I learned a lot from you in that regard, it's good to do, let's shoot it, not over rehearse it or overthink it. But some, questions and answers really do help, the performance and the flow of the movie, so to speak.
Tether us a bit.
Yes, tethered indeed.
Yeah. Talking of tethering, I was one of my questions for for Sterling was going to be that they put you through the ringer for the last kind of half of the movie, but I don't know if maybe it was not so bad now that you said that you were kind of sleeping in your car, sleeping rough. So maybe you kind of looking forward to these scenes after sleeping in your car.
There was, at no time was I looking forward to being tied and bound and sitting on Kyle's bathroom floor. There was let it be known that there was no time I was looking forward to that. It was but it added again, it was kind of in that sort of psychophysiological kind of way. It took you right to the world of the character, and because the production's no frills, you don't have somebody immediately coming to you after a take and saying, hey, are you okay? Here, let me get those off for you. Here's some tea. Here's, here, let's go sit in your chair. You don't have that, so you're just sitting there on the bathroom floor, tied, while work kind of goes around and you feel a little forgotten, which is okay. No shade, you guys, no shade. But
deserve some.
But and that helps the character, feeling that forgotten. You're there, you're stuck, you can't move. It worked for that.
The first day of filming, when Sterling came out and all dirty, we were filming one of his escapes down a hallway, and he came out with the real 20-pound Shane, and he was all dirty, and as a friend of him for almost a decade, it kind of made me emotional, and I was like, oh man, are we going too far? This is really sad and tragic seeing this. And then Sterling performed this incredible scene where he's crawling down the hallway and really doing it, no knee pads, a real chain that he's pulling along, and it was inspiring work, and the work that these two did together, some of the most memorable days of any film I've worked on. They're just worked together beautifully.
No acting.
Yeah. You got a good friend in Kyle there.
Yeah, right. Well, what was nice though was John made it. I will say this, it's great to work with a guy that has great craft, right? Because in between takes, he wasn't doing this thing of I got to treat you I'm treating you on screen and everything. He was, he's very kind, very generous, and even while I'm sitting there on the floor and all that other stuff. And that was cool too. He has craft, so he knows how to turn it on and turn it off at the right time.
Yeah. Something else I want to talk about. Obviously, there's kind of like this. There's a horror element in the middle, and then when we get towards the end, it kind of turns like CSI almost. And I don't think I've been on the edge of my seat like that for a long, long time. The last half an hour, I was just, and that was because, and there were like scenes coming from what I'd seen at the beginning, and because it all came together, it was really, really, really suspenseful stuff. So that must have been really complicated for the writers to kind of to plot that all out and make sure that kind of it's kind of a slow burn the first 45 minutes an hour. Things happen, but it's kind of slower, and then all of a sudden that last half really ramps everything up. Was that your intention?
Yeah, I mean, we toiled over that third act a long time, and we really weren't happy with it for the first 4 or 5 drafts. So just kept going back to the drawing board and really wanted to keep everything on edge. And then once we even got to the edit, we even sped things up more and really just tried to keep that tension. But a lot of credit is due to our producer, Zach, for just continuing to push us to make that third act, I think, as tight and as suspenseful as possible.
No, it really
It was
is.
no easy task.
And I imagine the editing must have been a nightmare as well, especially when you came to kind of scenes that we'd seen before. You didn't want to repeat anything. You need to keep it going as fast as possible, not keep the pace.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun to figure out how to do that in terms of not repeating, and I think just the performances of John and I guess Tomas Boykin, who plays Jasper in those scenes where perspectives, they offer such different flavors, and so just kind of, I don't know, just seeing it from a new point of view, new angles, like, you know, we were hoping would be interesting. I think just because the performance these guys gave, hopefully it is.
Brilliant. Well, listen, they're giving me the wrap in a couple of minutes, so thank you so much for your time. I wish you the best of luck with the screening next week on the 9th. I'm sure it's going to go down really well. I think the actors haven't seen the credits yet, so they'll get a big surprise. I hope we start seeing loads of articles about people Googling all over what the heck's going on here. I'm sure you will, because like I said before, I was on the train for about half an hour just Googling stuff. What the heck?
Cool.
So
it was such
a
fantastic
talking to you.
So listen, congratulations again on the movie. It's fantastic. It's going to go down really, really well, I'm sure. And I hope to speak to you again sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Howard.
Take care of yourself. Have a nice day. Enjoy the festival.